Hello. So we're going to be looking at just this game, and we're going to talk about how I use a very loosey-goosey fundamental understanding of the game and its mechanics, and avoid interacting with them in a way that makes it so that I can mentally comprehend and not maybe comprehend, but mentally, um, let's say, cope with any situation in my game. Um, what can I control in this game? I can control my champion. I can control my lane state. I can control when I use my abilities. I can control a lot of different things. But I cannot control my top lane being 0-1. I cannot control my bot lane being 2-0, and I cannot control my jungle being 1-0. I can, while I cannot control anyone else in this game, I can control my reactions to the stimuli that are being created in this game. So, regardless of whether my laners are smurfing and stomping or inting and feeding, I know that I can maintain my mentality and how I play. Like I miss all those CS. I miss like 2 CS. Like I should be getting 6 CS when it's under the tower, right? And that's something that I can control. But I ended up not being able to ultimately get that. Um, I um, love to stress the importance of how when you play a game or do anything in your life, you can control your actions and your reactions. You cannot control the other people's actions. You cannot control the outcome of events, and you cannot control, um, the timing of these events. It's just a like, oh my god, this is terrible. By the way, I almost get it. I almost get it. But then I have to flash. So both my summoners down as I come back into lane. Yeah, I did just get a reset off, but man, I would have really liked to have those. But I do not get really angry. I think I don't even get angry at myself. I make that mistake and I say, oh, I should have TP'd mid. If I was going to TP anywhere, because there may not have been a play and I needed to probably look and have a better assessment. I definitely did not look um, as well as I should have. Uh, the the things that you can control are going to matter the most, and um, what that means is, what is that thing called? There is something called the ABC method. It's cognitive behavioral tool, and it's called the ABC method. So you have an activating event, you have your beliefs, and you have the consequences. So a situation that triggers a thought, feeling, or behavior. Um, so what happens? Okay, let's say my bot laner is 0-3. The That is the activating event. My belief about that is, why is this happening in my game? This is so dumb. I should not be having people like this in my game. Like, this is like I'm just getting inted. Well, the consequences of that mindset is that I'm going to be in a negative mind state, like starting immediately with that thought. And that is where we have the next 2 steps called A B C D E, and I believe the D stands for to like a different belief, so a different belief, and the effective new belief. So effective new response method. So activating events. I have a teammate that is giga inting my game. My behavior is to get really negative, annoyed, and sad about the whole thing. The consequence of that is I'm going to be negative. I might tilt. I might play worse. I might have a lot of different things. Well, how can I make a different thought pattern to maybe effectively recommunicate to my brain that everything is fine and I'm not in as bad a situation as I may be in? Well, I can think to myself, everybody has those days. Everybody has whatever that. Yeah, everybody has those days. Like, you're gonna lie to me and say that you've never inted? Okay, sounds good, buddy. Um, give the grace to others that you would and should give yourself. Um, if you're playing poorly, like, hey, that's okay. Everybody plays poorly. There is never a time where like people are perfect. Um, like, look at this. I make a terrible mistake. I should not be up. But that does not get me down. Me making that mistake doesn't get me down. Me making the mistake of teleporting onto Grubs does not get me down. At the end of the day, Lilia got 2 kills. Hey, for me, that's a win. And this new positive effect that we have because of the internal dialogue that we're giving ourselves, where we're identifying these situations, is effectively going to increase your odds of playing at your best level, and also making it so that you're eventually going to be untiltable. And at a certain point, once you become this level of just like perfect untiltable, you're gonna reach a point where you can effectively analyze yourself real time and mid game, versus coming in, you know, saying I need to take a break and then like, oh, I'm gonna watch this game and see what's happening after the fact. Like I won this game. I lose a lot of games. I'm not watching my games until I am confident that I am mentally well enough to play this game and reach a plateau. If I am negative, if I'm in my head about this whole game and I'm not playing positively, like, I'm not going to want to coach that game because I'm in the wrong mind state. You have to have a positive mind state if you want to effectively assess the decisions that you're making. Nobody makes decisions well when you're angry, when you're sad, when you're in these different states of mind. And this is going to be like a pretty rough one, but like take alcohol. Take people that have a problem with substances. People that maybe say, oh, I need a break, I should get a drink after work, I need to get a drink. That was a stressful day. Well, now you're reinforcing a behavior. You have an activating event, a stressful day at work, and your belief is that to de-stress, you should have a drink. Well, the consequence is now you are effectively creating this connection in your brain that says, when I'm stressed, I would rather drink than look at the problem. And that's the same thing with League. When my game starts getting really, really bad and my team ints, I really need to just, I like to get angry, I like to type, I like to ping, I like to sigh. And it's you reinforce these negative habits that ultimately don't allow you to make new positive habits, because you're always focusing on how to reinforce your negative ones, because that's all that you've been doing. Like, if I pause this game, I'm gonna pause this game real quick. They are 2k down. They have 9 kills, but they have 4 grubs. They got the Herald. Like, this is a very, very close game, regardless of the scenario. He's up 1 level, he's up 1 level. So they're net neutral. I'm up 1 level, they're net neutral, they're net neutral. We have a very marginal experience lead and a very marginal gold lead. I have about a component. I have a mid-level component on my counterpart. So if this was finished into an item, they would have nothing, and I would have my Blighting Jewel. But since they just have this rod, I have a completed item plus the thing. Like, it's just like this is just math at this point. Again, 700 gold, not that much. This person's down a lot, but that's just going to be the nature of playing against someone who is a lot more impactful on the map, like an Amumu is. Amumu can get around, get important picks and kills when necessary. My Lilia's ahead, 3k. That is a whole item, 2.5. That's a whole, like, average mid-level item. And then Darius is up, but this game is nowhere near as lost as it may seem if you were in the other team's position. Oh my gosh, they have a 9-1 Lilia and a 5-1 Syndra. This game is just over. Well, what can they probably do different? Well, maybe they can think to themselves, hey, it's a 2k gold lead right now. I don't think we need to do anything. I think we need to try to just get vision and effectively slow the game down, because if we keep moving at this pace, we're going to suffocate ourselves. And because of that, they end up maybe stepping up a little bit too far and not having an effective, I guess, gameplay. Again, watch. I make a huge mistake. Watch how low I get from this bitch. I have taken no damage from an enemy champion this whole time. I got E'd from the Darius, and that's it. In my mind, I said to myself, can we please just do this? Because I saw them fighting, and I said, you know what? It's not even their fault that I took this damage. It's mine. That is my mistake. But this is, I think, something that I really want to get across to a lot of people is that, like, your mental state is far more important than your mechanical skills in this game. Because if you're not emotionally and cognitively able to process and effectively think, then you're actually just, you're doing yourself a disservice because nobody plays well under stress, under pressure. Maybe a select few, like Daredevils do that. And maybe surgeons and other such type people, but like that is the situation. And I play this fight terribly again, and to me, I'm thinking, oh my god, why did that fight happen there? Why couldn't we do it? But the circumstances, I think about it afterwards, and I go, well, Aphelios was going to get run down by the Draven anyway, so there was actually not that much that he could have done. His positioning was just very, very rough. I say, oh man, that person has a Seraph. Well, yeah, maybe I should look at the tab. I come down, I try to do the same thing to Darius right before Baron comes up, and he has Sterix. Maybe I should hit tab more often and actually look at the people's information. Here's what I do. I hit tab like this. This is what I do because I spam it. I don't know what to do. I'm stimming, and instead of doing that, maybe I can start building an effective habit of, instead of dot 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 dot, I can click and hold and spam a different key, maybe like Alt or something like that. But the ring finger feels really good for me, so maybe I do this, and then after I'm done doing that, maybe I can start holding and looking at the enemy composition, enemy builds, and doing stuff like that. Like, this is something that I'm saying to myself right now, after the fact, never having thought about looking at the enemy team's build. As far as the enemy team's build, I looked once, right when I got my Cosmic, and said, do I need anything? And I said, well, Udyr has a Spirit Visage, and maybe they're going to get more MR. I should just get a Blighting Jewel. And halfway through, I said, well, I'd really like to get a Needless. And then I said to myself, I'd really like to get another Needless. I want to finish this Rabadon's because I don't think I need the Blighting Jewel. But I take a hit on that, and I go, well, maybe it's okay. I can just end up getting the... and there we go. See, okay, so that's something that, like, they'll say, like, and they say this a lot. At least the first time that I watched a coaching session was that I'm wasting my cooldowns. And, like, here's something that, like, I didn't even do during this game. I did not look at the situation of that team fight, and I'm going to do that real quick. So I just do that onto the Draven, or the Darius, and I don't look at the Baron at all. To me, I think to myself, well, we have 4 people up there versus their 4. I have a Lilia up there, and they don't have a Darius. Darius is one of those champs that is currently a little bit ahead, and at least I would assume still, yeah, no, he's about even. Well, maybe this was a very, very poor miscalculation by me to not look at the fight and how it's progressing, but for me, I'm very positive that I think that this Lilia is going to perform and play well. She's been performing this whole time up until this point, so why shouldn't I trust her to perform continuing after this point? And you could say, oh, you can't trust League players. They make mistakes all the time. I make mistakes all the time. Okay, and that's okay. Give them grace. You know? There's no reason to not. It's a bit of an egotistical thing to say to yourself that I'm the one that has to win this game every single time. I do not have to win this game. I am sitting in the bot lane pushing. I am not winning the game through any insanely strong decision. In fact, I give up a free shutdown right here to the Draven. Probably the worst person to give it to, because I sit there and I go, oh, I can get a kill. Well, that kill doesn't effectively even do anything. Yeah, maybe they got me, but it's not really an actually good kill on paper. So, and I'm rambling a little bit because it's very hard for me to, like, genuinely write out my ideas and formulate a full plan, and I would love to be able to do that, and I need to sit down and think about that and how I can effectively communicate and not even communicate, but effectively produce a coherent line of thought so that I can, give that information to people. That's something I would love to do, but I am just not able to do that right now. It's something that I want to get better at. Um, but what I am good at is having a good head on my shoulders and having a thought process that is going to benefit me no matter what. Um, and with that being said, I mean that's the game. And to me, I didn't think a single thing about this. But as I finish the game and I look at the teams, I say, "Who's this Milio? Huh? I know this Milio." And I say that. I was like, "Oh my god, you were in my game." And that was exceptionally funny because I'm not thinking about what the other people are doing. I'm thinking about what I'm doing. And that's the only thing that really matters. Is how you think and how you process and how you act and how you conduct yourself. So thank you for listening to my rambling. If you did, I would love to give more information and more kind of, I guess, uh, patterns of thought and behaviors analysis, because I think it's really important, because whether you're sad or angry, there's going to be different responses. Like, what happens when you're angry? Well, maybe your body temperature heats up a little, and maybe there's something in your stomach that just like you feel there's this knot in your stomach and it feels like it's going to come up. And that's very rooted in our lizard brain, and how we can control our lizard brain is through complex thought analysis. And that's another thought that I would love to go in on and talk about. But that this is just a very broad overview of how I think about the game and how I just keep my mental, regardless of regardless of whether or not I a giga into the game. And I queued this up immediately after. Like, there's nothing for me. Like, it does not affect me. I do not mind. Um, it's okay. This one, 5, 12, and 7. Hey, I could have gotten really mad and ran it down even harder, but I tried to slow down my deaths, and I did a pretty good job. I mean, this guy kept going in, and like, so, but like, there's a lot that I had to do, and there's a lot of thoughts that you can have, and a lot of feelings that come out, and learning to be able to control them is going to exponentially improve your ability to win your games in the long term. I do not play a lot of solo queue. I just started again this last week, um, and the results have been overwhelmingly positive, and I think that is due in part to a level-headed approach to the game and to the reactions to stimuli in the game. So again, very long-winded outro of that, but thank you for listening to my rambling once again.